Okay, who are you and where are you from?
So my name is Angelo Lombardi, originally from the Pasadena area, but been up here in Barstow since June of last year.
We're outside the Walmart in Barstow, and you were on your bike walking by, and you say you have a COVID story. There's people that you have in your extended family that have had it.
Yeah, so my uncle on my mom's side, we found out, I'd say about a month ago, he was in a hospital with COVID. So we tried to get in contact with them, and we successfully got in contact with them through like Zoom or Messenger. And from what he was telling us, he seemed to be doing all right. He opted for like in-home treatment. But you know, both my mom and my dad's side of the family were, I guess you could say, stubborn. And so, you know, being the guy that he is, he got the news that he was getting better, you know, from what the nurses and doctors were telling him. So he decided to do some things without his oxygen, because they had him on oxygen. And unfortunately, like, after several days of like, you know, talking to him back and forth, he had succumbed to COVID, unfortunately. He was doing some laundry, you know, going off, I guess, what he was being told, that he was doing all right, which we kind of concluded that maybe it was just to keep his spirits up. But he was doing some laundry, and what we were told was he just fainted, passed out, and that was it for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how's it affected your life here in the States? Have you been distancing and masking and?
Yeah, so originally, like when everything started, you know, anytime I left the house, I had my mask on. I'll be honest, I kind of experienced like mask fatigue. And so as of like a month ago, like I wear it like if I go into the stores, or on occasion at work, like if I deal with clients.
What kind of work do you do?
Right now I work at a hotel here in town. I do front desk, so checking in guests, checking out guests. When I was working a day shift, I would, you know, always wear my mask because it was more busier during the daytime. But now that I'm doing nights, it's not as busy, so I'll put it on when like somebody comes in and they're wearing their mask. So, you know, just like out of mutual respect. As far as how it affected me, I was actually supposed to start a new job in Pasadena at a boutique hotel. My first day was the initial day of the lockdowns, which was like mid-March. And since then, I recently found out that the hotel closed. No word as to if they were going to reopen or, you know, anything like that. But as of now, that hotel remained closed. So situation changed. Both my families up here and mine out there in Pasadena. So long story short, I packed it all up and came out here to be with the folks. Yeah.
And are you vaccinated?
Not as of yet, no. I plan to. I'm just kind of waiting to see, like, you know, if there's any, like, somewhat, like, long-term or mid-term side effects, I suppose. But I intend to.
So your delay is deliberate because you're worried about side effects.
Yeah, if any. While, you know, obviously the vaccine is, you know, the efficacy is really good. I forget of which, if it was Moderna or Pfizer, but I don't know. I seen how, I guess, you know, obviously it was needed, and so was the rush to create it. Just
I see that it's sort of working in some of these measures are sort of working in LA. They're going down to yellow levels, and some days they're not getting any new cases, deaths, and so have you been socially distancing from people? Have your Christmases, your Thanksgivings, have they all been smaller? Have your get-togethers with the friends been curtailed?
Haven't really seen anyone since the whole thing started. I have been keeping myself distant, you know. Like, I really just go out for work. Like, right now I was just dropping off a movie at Redbox. But I really just go for work, and grocery shopping is the only reasons I leave the house.
Wow.
And then I really just hunker down. And
now, how does that affect your happiness level or your anxiety level?
Well, it has taken a toll. I mean, I'm typically a very active person, so I like to do, you know, bike riding. I like to be outdoors. So, I mean, it's affected me in that sense. I mean, it has gotten me down, you know. But, you know, I try to keep my spirits up, either watching something funny on the internet or...
Well, how are you coping also? I mean, you have older parents, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you worried for them? And are you thinking about life and death more often?
I do worry for them. I mean, my dad, I mean, especially my dad, he already has previous, like, health problems. So his immune system isn't the greatest at all. But my mom, she's very strong.
Are they vaccinated? Are they distancing?
Aren't yet. They are distancing. My folks don't really leave the house except for the same thing if they need to get groceries.
Well, why aren't they vaccinating?
You know, I was just talking to that about that with the guest this morning, because I mean, they're in the age group where they could have got the vaccination a while ago, but I don't know. It's something I'm gonna ask them today, to be honest.
And you know, I think vaccine companies and the government is wondering why more people are hesitant. But you say it's basically because you're worried that the full side effects haven't been seen yet.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm just waiting it out for that reason.
And maybe your parents too.
Yeah, I'll find out as to the reason behind them not getting it yet. And I think maybe in part it's just because, like, if my dad has to go get it, my mom has to take him, but she wants to minimize his exposure to the outside as much as possible just because of his health condition.
Has anything good happened in the last year? More time at home resulted in new hobbies, or the hobby you have being better, or relationships, some relationships getting... Are you developing a new philosophy of life?
I mean, it's helping me, I guess, like, discover more of, like, helping me, I guess, like, grow a little more, because, you know, like, I'm more reliant on myself in a sense, because, like, I'm not, like, mixing with anybody, and so my current happiness isn't relying on, like, the group settings. It's, you know, if I'm in a funk, how do I get myself out of this funk? And it's developing those kind of skills, I think.
And what it was the two final questions. The government's response, has it been good? Has it been underwhelming? What do you think's going on there?
I mean, obviously, you know, we're all social creatures, so when the initial lockdowns happened, I was doing food deliveries out in the LA area, and I did notice, you know, like, when it first started, obviously a lot of people took it to heart and didn't venture out as much. Like, the streets were empty. It was like apocalyptic the way it seemed. But I think, like myself, like, some people just, you know, got tired of just being cooped up, and
So the government has been overreacting or underreacting?
I would say I think it could have been more. They responded as much as they could. And obviously they got a lot of pushback from like the American people that weren't wanting to be at home that long. They goes back, I guess, to our social nature. We want to be around people and in person, and I think it goes on both sides. Like, it could have been a little bit stricter, perhaps a little bit longer, and
Well, what about the future? Is this the new normal, or are we going to be getting vaccines and masking up for the future, or is this are we turning the corner and conquering this, or where do you see us going from here?
I think certain aspects of it will linger around, like like the work from home thing. I think businesses will see it beneficial to them, like the overhead, having to worry about like offices and stuff like that. I think use of digital forms of payment are going to stick around a lot longer. There are certain aspects, I think. The masking, I don't necessarily know if that would stick around forever. But certain aspects of it, I believe, will stick around.
Any last thoughts on your philosophy of this year in COVID, this pandemic? Any thoughts in retrospect about what you want to say?
Oh, man. I mean, soon as things settle down, I guess it's just, appreciate what you got. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses, and yeah, just enjoy the small things, That's what I think.
Well, thank you very much for that
worries.
On this Cinco de Mayo 2021. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Important note. These interviews attempt to follow how Americans live their daily lives in a pandemic, their behavior, and personal belief systems. The views expressed are not those of journalist Michael Sean Comerford, nor any affiliated organizations, past or present. No interview shall be considered an endorsement of the opinions expressed by the interviewee. These pandemic-focused interviews document a wide range of views held by individuals along Route 66 from February to May 2021.